Hey, Mr. Eddie, I just want to let you know, this is the Cadillac of all Jack Hossinator right here. You should have never sent them vitamins. Look at that old boy, huh? Whoa, them old vitamins done picked it up. That Hossinator, big as my hand. I can't even get my fingers around it, you hear me? Man, that's gonna be the ticket right there, old buddy. I'm telling you, vitamins done the trick.
Guys, nothing makes a bacon and tomato sandwich better than a big Cherokee purple tomato. Guys, we got some tomatoes getting ready. Right here are some of these Cherokee purples. We're gonna pick these this morning and get up there and weigh them. But I'm gonna write on these tomatoes so I won't mess up on what's what. We got, look at that big tomato. So we got 4 Cherokee tomatoes. That's the first 4 off of this Cherokee this year. That's the Cherokee purples. Next up on these 4s are Hossinators or STM 2255s. This is going to be our second one for the year. There's another one right here that needs just a few more days. I think one of these is going to beat the one I weighed a few days ago. It weighed a 0.8, 802. Tomatoes wet, my marker ain't wanting to write. There's 2 more nice Hossinators. And we're going to have a couple of roasters this morning that needs to come off. And they ain't as big as the Hossinators. And these right here is the Indian Stripes. I think I'm gonna leave them on there another couple of days. That looks like all of the tomatoes that's ready to pick out here. Got 1 Brandywine pink right here that's ready. Well, good morning, guys. Today I'm gonna give y'all just a quick walk through the garden to let y'all see what all has changed. Because in the last 7 days, my garden has really went to jumping. I got some tomatoes that I picked this morning, and I'm gonna insert them clips in here. I had one Hossinator that I picked a few days ago. I call that my first weigh-in. You'll see it in the clip. But to start out with, we're gonna be checking out the corn. Now the corn's looking good here. We'll get y'all up close. And it ain't gonna be but a couple of days. There's gonna be some ears that I think is gonna be ready. Now some of this corn here was trying to make 3 ears to a stalk, but the third little ear I don't think's ever gonna develop. It might, but as it gets ready, I'll be harvesting some. This is one of these things where you ain't gonna harvest it all at one time. I have to get the ears harvested as they get ready. But it's got a few stalks I see up in there that's got 3 ears on them. Now most of them's just 1 ear to a stalk. Some's got 2 ears to a stalk. And then just a few with 3 ears to a stalk. But you can see I got several ears that's getting close to being ready. And there's some other little ears coming on. Like I said, I don't know if they gonna ever develop or not. And I might need to pull one of these right now and check it. I think that's what we're doing. I think I'm gonna go on and pull one, the biggest one I see, just to look at it. Now what I'm gonna have to do to get this corn, I'm gonna get my cutters and I'm gonna cut me some little window holes that I can reach my arms in there to get that corn that's further back up in there. You can see that stalk right there has got two ears. It's about the same size. So we're gonna see what we're gonna end up with. Let me pull one of these ears off and let's check it out. I think I should have waited about 3 more days, but I'm gonna check this first ear out. Now, guys, I'm actually finna have to pull some of these bigger ears this morning. Look at that pretty ear of corn right there. Now you might get some bigger ears of corn by planting a bigger patch of corn, but that's a pretty ear of peaches and cream corn right there. Yeah. So today I'm finna get my pliers, I'm gonna cut me some holes, and I'm finna harvest all these bigger ears. Guys, I ain't finna harvest this corn right now. I'm finna give y'all a quick walk through and let you check out the garden and see what all's grown and how much it's grown in the last 7 days. Guys, yesterday afternoon, about 3 hours before dark, it come a little storm through here, and we didn't get much rain, not even enough to hardly settle the dust, but the wind in front of that little cloud done some damage out here. It blew my 2 big tall tomatoes over up there, and I don't think it broke them. I stood them back up and drove a T-post and tied them off. It blew my tomatoes off over here. But anyway, the garden kind of looks rough this morning. And I didn't record none of that yesterday because I was trying to get out here and get it all stood back up the best I could and staked off before dark. Guys, there are my sweet potato slips I planted. Actually, one of them didn't take, and this one, that there took off good. These slips in this little bed took off good. And these over here has been struggling. Because if y'all seen when I planted these, when I got my slips off that potato, some of them really didn't even have no roots on them. So I've been having to baby them to get them started. And we've been up in there 90 degrees, so and I still could lose them if I don't stay on my toes. There's how much the cayenne pepper has grown. It's blooming, getting loaded down with blooms. Got a bunch of little peppers down here. But if that does what it done last year, it's gonna be loaded. That's the reason I only planted one of them. Now my zucchinis over here has been doing great. And just a few days ago, that whole bed was so full. I come out here and I went to pruning because one of them old vine borers had done killed this one right here. So I pruned them all back. And what I did, that other bed over there, planted me a couple of seeds to get me some more started. But I think I got the old vine borer in there, in my little trap there. Now what that is just a homemade trap, and put a little water with soap in it, drill your hole, so when it rains, the water will come out that hole and just only keep a certain amount of water down in here. And this here is some scent baits that I order, and I can't rightly remember right now where I order them from. If I don't forget, I'll put it on the screen. But that's some scent that you put in there that attracts your insects, and they go in there and they go down in there and get trapped. But that there's one of them vine borers, or at least the wasp that lays the grub that turns into the vine borer. The grub's what actually goes into your vines on your squash and kills them. I'll try to attach a picture up of the little wasp looking critter that lays the egg. Like I said, I don't know the proper name for it. I just call them vine borers. But he'll lay an egg right down there on the bottom. When that egg turns into a grub worm, they go straight into your stalks and kill your squash. Last year I couldn't even grow squash. By the time they get big enough to eat, vine borer be done got them. This year I got squash going out my ears, y'all see in a little bit. Now this here is a tangled up mess, because this all fell over yesterday in that high wind. This big one right here on this side, which some of that on top's actually the other one on the other side, because it blew from the northeast coming this way and blew it all over. That's a Cherokee and an Indian stripe. And then right here was another Hossinator. But like I said, it's all jumbled up. And if I tried to unjumble it, it was just gonna break off. So it's gonna do what it's gonna do. But I do have a couple of Hossinators in here. Probably tomorrow need picking them. But my plans with these tomatoes was to let them come up out of the top of the cages and just fall over and then just hang over and do what they was gonna do. And I should have put the T-post in the middle when I planted them, but I didn't. You can see how loaded down with tomatoes they are. So they couldn't withstand no wind. Now all this mess right here may not make it, because it's literally broke over. But I'm just gonna let it grow and do what it's gonna do. Muscadines, guys, I'm gonna have muscadines out of my ears if something don't happen. They are loaded. I don't know if y'all can see all them muscadines up in there. But they like that all the way. Speaking of them, if don't nothing happen, guys, my blueberry bush is over here. Way back in the early spring when we had the late frost, them two blueberry bushes right there had done bloomed and loaded down with blueberries. That late frost got it, knocked all the blooms and buds off, And this year I ain't even gonna have a handful of, it ain't even gonna be a handful on there. But that shows you it don't matter how good a gardener you are. Mother Nature change your plans and ain't nothing you can do about it. Last year them little bushes wasn't 3 foot tall and wasn't half that bush. And it was loaded with blueberries, and I made, I don't know, a couple batches of blueberry jelly, I know. But Mother Nature changed that for me this year. I ain't gonna get no blueberries. Same thing happened to my pear tree. My pear tree was loaded down over there with blooms, and that late frost got it. And it actually, I thought it killed the tree, but it's coming back, but it looks terrible. Plus I'm gonna have to cut a lot of dead stuff off. The ground cherries is coming to an end just in the last 7 days. That's how fast once they get ripe and fall off, guys. When they fall off, that's a ripe ground cherry. That's called the Goldie Goldie. It's a good little fruity taste. Ain't nothing but a garden snack. We don't try to make nothing out of them. We'll grab them when we come out through here and eat them. Been getting my beets a little at a time. Actually, I got some I harvested yesterday evening late. Sun's getting up now this morning, but there's that lemon cucumber. It ain't got many blooms on there, but it's a lot of green growing, and I knew that was going to happen because that's the bed I grew my onions in. And if you know onions, you load them down with nitrogen. So I knew that bed was going to be full of nitrogen. So I got a lot of vines there and ain't that many blooms. But a couple days ago, I give it a shot of triple phosphate that has no nitrogen in it. So hopefully that'll make it start putting on some blooms. Maybe y'all see a difference on the next garden update. This was my green eggs. I wished I'd have took a video why it was so full, but guys, you couldn't even see that little bed there. It was so covered. We've been getting green eggs, but I went back, what I did, I went on and trimmed them down, pruned them. The reason I done that, because I planted 2 more seeds out here. Once them start getting about 4 inches tall, I cut one of these. And then they get a little taller, I cut the next one. That way by the time these is getting ready to put on new fruit, I'll be done removed all 4 of these old ones if the vine borer ain't got them and removed them for me. Now somebody asked me on my messages, what do I do for vine borers? I think I replied back, I wished I had a good answer for you, because last year I couldn't even grow squash for vine borers. Year before last, I picked squash that I was sick of picking, and this year I'm picking squash till I'm sick of picking. And guys, I've tried everything there is to try. I just think if you get vine borers come through, some years you gonna get them. Ain't much you can do. But about the only thing I do now is I do put some powder 7 dust right on the bases of my squash. That way it ain't getting on my squash itself or nothing that I'm eating. Does that help? I don't know. I just put it on there, but I know, like I said, it's either a good year or a bad year. If it's a bad year, I don't think it's nothing you can put on there if you have them real bad in your area. Right here, I got some yellow squash planted for my next little crop, and I'm gonna try to train them up this trellis till I get tired of doing it, and then of course they just hang over and grow over onto the ground. Same thing on this little tank here. I got some second crop of cucumbers planted. Guys, yesterday after that wind, y'all see that super sweet 100 tomato right there? That tomato's over 8 foot tall right now and loaded down with tomatoes. And I say loaded, I mean loaded down all over. And we've been getting some starting at the bottom, getting ripe every day. You pick a handful, but just look at them. I hope y'all can see just how many tomatoes is up in there. But guys, that's over 8 foot tall. And when I come out here yesterday evening after that storm, it was on the ground, because I didn't put a T-post. So I stood it back up and put a T-post, which is what I should have done in the beginning. Y'all can see all the tomatoes on the ground. It fell off when it hit the ground. I'm surprised it wasn't more than that. But I'm hoping it didn't break it. I don't think it broke it off any. Next few days I'll know. Same thing with this one here. That's my Honey Delight hybrid. And it's about 6 foot, a little over 6 foot tall. It's got a lot of tomatoes on it. Here's a couple down here I picked this morning to show y'all what size these get if you ain't never seen them. They bigger than cherry tomatoes. They about the size of golf balls. But them's like, for the last 3 years, 4 years now, this plant has never let me down. Every year, I may not can do it this year, but this plant goes all the way through the summer, still makes tomatoes right up till the frost gets it in the fall. So I plant them every year. The Honey Delight hybrid. Here's my tropical sunset. It's up there about 7 foot tall. And it's got lots and lots of tomatoes on it. It ain't as loaded like that Sweet 100, but this is about the size of them. They ain't big as a golf ball, but that's about as big as they get. There's 5 right there. That's about the color they get when they're ripe. I actually like these, to pick these just a little earlier. They're kind of 2 different flavors, being called tropical sunset. You kind of get them, if you pick them early, you kind of get one flavor. You let them set out a couple days and ripen on up, you kind of get a different flavor. I kind of like them when they like they are right now, kind of on the green side. Guys, y'all see why I say I've been squash this year? So far, a vine borer hasn't got any squash out of that. Y'all see the ones in the middle there with some of the later ones I planted. But guys, some of these vines here is done run about 6 to 8 foot long. And I got a pick squash this morning, and there's a table full up there now, and I'll give y'all a shot of after a while. But this is squash running wild. Just look how long them vines, the main vine, they just run. You just have to get in there and hunt for your squash. But the squash, and like I said, last year I couldn't even grow a squash right here in this same garden. Before they get big enough to eat, the vine borer would get them and kill them. The summer dance cucumbers right here on this trellis. That now I'll let go to the mower. This one here will be harvested after a while. I think I harvested these yesterday. Yeah, I did. Because all on there smaller ones right now. But you can see my garden here between the squash and watermelons is taking over the vines. They going everywhere. I do have more vines than I got watermelons, but there's several watermelons up in there, guys. The bees didn't do a good enough job this year pollinating. Ain't them some pretty snapdragons. There's the little herbs. But this is our first big watermelon that we hoping gonna be ready for the 4th of July. I don't know if it's gonna be ready, but that's a pretty good sized watermelon. There's another one down in there. There's several watermelons in there, guys. I'm just not gonna walk out in there. Come down through here, you can see the yellow one shining. Seems like it's more yellow watermelons than it is the other ones. And it might be just cause they green and easier to spot. And I don't know if this is gonna be the Orangelos or the silver tomato. I think the silver tomato was planted on this end. If it was, I don't know. This could be one of them. The way these vines is going wild everywhere. There's the other Hossinator tomato. Guys, y'all see the difference in the plants? That's a Hossinator tomato inside my inside garden, 5 foot tall, versus the ones out there on my outside garden where they didn't get the same treatment as these in here got. And they ain't but about 3 foot tall, but they made a lot of tomatoes. There's the Christmas lima beans. Done took over its trellis and they just now starting to put on blooms. My Italian flat green beans there. We done picked about 2 gallons off of them. I got about a gallon the first picking, about a gallon the second picking, and it probably needs picking again right now. We'll walk over here and see. There's what they look like. Flat green beans. And they've been good eating. And they ought to keep going and really start putting on more now. They ought to just now be getting started good. See, my peppers finally went to jumping. We got poblanos, bell peppers, banana peppers, Fuya jalapeno peppers. But y'all know peppers like heat, and they just now growing and putting on peppers. Eggplants the same way. We done got 2 or 3 eggplants. We got the fairy tails. Here's the fairy tails. The little purple ones. Won't be 2 days, then we need to be harvested. Then we have the white stars, which I harvested a couple of these yesterday. The Black Beauty and Midnights. I harvested a couple yesterday, and y'all see there's a couple more there. In about 2 days, they'll be ready. Got more coming on this one. More blooms. Here's some more of these white stars. There's one on the back side. That I need to, I think I'll leave it on there one more day. And this is the reds that after the cool crops come out of. That's just pink eye purple hulls I planted in that bed. And zipper cream peas in that bed. And this was extra watermelon plants, guys, that I stuck over here. And actually that's 3 different kinds of plants, and I don't even remember which ones it was, to tell you the truth. We'll find out when we cut them. Look at that one hanging there. I'm gonna end up having to fix a net or something to hold that one. I done that on purpose. I trained that vine to go up that top. I wanted to see what it would do, but I know it's gonna be aggravating because you gotta come up with a netting or something to hold your watermelons up when you do stuff like that. Same thing with the extra eggplants over here. These was late planted. They was extra plants I had. So after the pak choy and stuff come out of this bed, I think what was in it may have been something else. Cool weather crops. Once they come out, I planted them in there. So if you know anything about eggplants and squash and peppers, see, this is an extra bed of overflow peppers I had. And guys, this is 2 little peppers right here. Me and my wife and Colton went and visited Mr. Buddy and Miss Lippy last weekend. And they give me 2 of these peppers here. And I have to put the name in the screen because I done forgot what they even are. Is a hot pepper. I brought them home and just stuck in this bed with these here. So Mr. Buddy, I got your peppers planted that I can't even remember the name of at the moment. Also, while I was over there visiting with Mr. Buddy and Miss Lippy, and we had a great time, guys. Awesome time visiting. Awesome food. Best food I ever eaten in my life. That lady can cook. We kind of come home with some of Mr. Buddy's fig trees that he had started from cuttings. Right there's the brown turkey. Right there's the black mission. And then we got the Celeste. And then we got 2 loquats. Now where I'm gonna plant all this, I don't know, but we're just gonna keep them in the pots throughout the summer and let them get rooted good, and then we'll plant them in the fall. Right back there, the potatoes, like sweet potatoes I cut my slips off of, I just left them in there and got some more little slips coming in case I couldn't keep them out there going. See the basil, holy basil and sweet basil. And guys, this was my celery that I was growing, let go in the seed, and it had even fell over. Trying to stand it back up, and I'm gonna have to get a stake. It done got so tall and that wind done blowed it over yesterday. But celery I turned into a tree. You just let it keep growing. There it goes, timber. But I was just letting that go to seed because we got another pile of celery out here when we want, or when my wife wants some celery. I really don't eat celery other than come out here and get a piece to cook with or something other. There's some celery right there. Celery, I don't know if I just had good luck or celery's easy to grow. Guys, I gotta walk over here and work backwards now with this sun shining. This here's the spoon tomatoes. Supposed to have been hanging upside down, but I tried to start 2 of these upside down and they kept dying, so my last one I just left it stuck on top of the bucket. But this is as big as they get, guys. Called little spoon tomatoes. I was growing them just for the fun of it. They ain't bad tasting. They got tough skin on them, thicker skin, and ain't that much meat in them as small as they are. So that was just something to grow just to grow it. Actually, it's supposed to have been upside down, like this one right here. Now this right here is the Super Sweet 100, guys. Now ain't that amazing? That goes to show you That Super Sweet 100 was planted in that bucket right there. At the same time, that 8-foot tall Super Sweet over there was planted. So that shows you that that little bit of dirt ain't feeding that plant enough to do what its potential to do. Now, yeah, if you had them just hanging around a carport or balcony or somewhere, that's a lot of little tomatoes. A whole lot of little tomatoes for that little plant. But you plant that same plant in the ground like I got it over there where it gets fed good, y'all see what the difference is. That's the brandy wine. Y'all just seen that tomato come off of when I was harvesting it. My sunflowers here, just some random sunflowers jumped up here now this last 7 days. My valerian root is taking hope and coming on now. Y'all remember once before I said I wouldn't weed that bed. It still got a lot of weeds in it, but I wouldn't weed that bed because I ain't never grew valerian roots. So I didn't know what it looked like. So I had to wait till something got big enough that I knew it was the valerian root and not a weed. And like I said, there's still some weeds in there that needs to come out. But here's the tomatoes outside. The first two's the Roma. Don't know if you could put another tomato on them bushes up in there. They just loaded. That's the Cherokee where y'all just seen me harvest. See, these tomatoes out here, guys, ain't getting the feed or the fertilizer that them ones in the inside garden. All these got was when I planted them, I dug the hole and put my fertilizer mixture in the bottom of that hole, planted them deep, and then this outside garden, that's all, you know, that's all it had. So that goes to show you the difference. We'll look at the Hossinators when we get down here, but there's the red snappers. But they got lots of tomatoes on small plants. And that was kind of my thing this year. I wanted to see. And I like what I'm seeing. The small plants loaded down with big tomatoes. But see the Hossinators here? I mean, they got nice tomatoes on them. So big it broke the limb off that and it's just hanging, but it's still connected growing. They got big tomatoes on them, but they ain't big plants. So I was trying something different on not feeding these like I normally feed tomatoes and getting big old plants to see what happened. And these ain't even 3.5 foot tall. This here's the roadsters. Now they are a little taller right down here. Well, that last one right there, now that's the Indian stripe. And then two more of the Roma tomatoes. But that just goes to show you what tomatoes will do in different feedings, how much you feed them and what kind of soil they're planted in. That versus that. Or if you want to see the Hossinator versus that. Is the Hossinator that's inside, it's way more fertile soil and gets fed. That's the difference in them. The upside down fairy tales. Again, the only thing wrong with this, you got to water this mess every day in these little buckets. It's got some little fairy tales hanging on it. But I think that's a cute little plant. Somebody won't hang something around their carport or something to grow. Upside down fairy tales, eggplants. Also the upside down peppers here, guys, which ain't what I've been saying that was. Some reason I've been saying that was a carnival blend, and that's actually one of them Savannah sweet peppers that I thought didn't start. Apparently I had one that started, and there it is. But them right there, they got a few more days and they'll be ready. Guys, when a red pepper's ready to pick, you grab it and you start moving it like that, it'll come off in your hands. Now I pick them sometimes before they come off in my hands, but you do that much moving right there and it don't come off, your pepper ain't ready to harvest yet. You do that much moving. Now see that in there? I'm gonna go on and pull it, because when I that much moving, that in there started breaking. That's how I harvest my peppers. I reach in there and give them a little thump like that and they don't break. You don't hear them do nothing. I don't get them off. Y'all see what that wind done to my pink eye purple holes yesterday? It's like a little twister wind come through here, like a little, I ain't gonna say a tornado, it wasn't a tornado, but it was a little twister wind. See how all that's laid down on this end of the garden? And it's laid down like it was twisting like this. And the reason I say that, you see on that end, they all still standing up. And for it to blow that tomato plant down, also up there by my propane tank, I had a zinnia in a pot on each end of the propane tank, and the one on the south end, it snapped the whole zinnia bush off and blowed it out of the pot. That's why I said it had to been a little vortex come through here twisting in order to do that. And luckily we didn't get no main damage or nothing. Kind of like like a little dirt devil twister. There's the cantaloupes. Kind of like the watermelons, there's cantaloupes down in there, guys, but not as many as I was hoping. I mean, you can see there's 4 right there and 2 right there, and there's several in there, but I just ain't, the pollinators, I don't understand it. I've said it before and I say it again. That white box in that tree right there got bees in it, but I seldom see them out here in the garden this year. And it ain't nothing that I'm spraying that's keeping them out of this garden, or at least I don't think it is. I wasn't spraying nothing but neem oil and baking soda up until it got where we had hot nights and no cool nights. Brussels sprouts, guys. We got off of them right there, we got enough Brussels sprouts to have a little mess the other night. Now these here, see them are a little knotty. Now the ones we eat, they wasn't very big, and they was real loose. See, when they try to get big, they just open way up, hot as it is. I need to go and take these out because they finna get wrapped up with these cantaloupe vines. It's done got hot enough they ain't gonna do nothing. But we did get us a mess of Brussels sprouts, and if I still have that picture, I'll attach it on there and show y'all my little plate had my Brussels sprouts that night. Okra is finally getting us some warm nights. Guys, even though we had some days getting up in the 90s, up until about a week ago, we were still having cool nights. And okra, eggplants, peppers, they don't like cool. They don't like cool at night. They want some warm nights and hot days. Well, they starting to get them. They probably gonna get more than they want. You can see these Brussels sprouts here. Right now, if we had a lot of cool nights left, them right there would have had a chance, but our cool nights is over. I don't think them's even gonna get big enough to worry about. To see my cantaloupe. There's a cantaloupe hanging right there. They didn't get all wadded up over here. So I really need to take them out just so the cantaloupe have a place to grow, run. Cantaloupe's gonna be wanting to climb my okra over there. But I done it this way this year, but next year I'll do what I did. I'll change up things and put the watermelons back out here, and that way they can run wild and do what they want and not interfere with nothing else. Alright guys, we finna weigh this Hossinator. And it didn't make a pound. That is 0.802 pounds. And I know this digital scale is hard to read on the computer, on the video. Alright guys, the biggest Cherokee weighs 1.287. I was actually thinking that one would have weighed a little more than that. Now we're going to weigh the Hossinator. That's a 0.917. We're going to weigh the other Hossinator. That's 0.885. So far my biggest Hossinator is 0.917. And I'm going to weigh this Brandywine just for fun of it. 0.875. And the little roadster there is a 0.622. Hossinator again. My biggest Hossinator so far is 0.917 pounds. Alright guys, I just harvested sweet corn. This is peaches and cream. This first harvest I got 25 ears of corn, counting the first one I pulled earlier in the video. That's 25 ears. I was shooting for 50 ears. When I planted that in there, that's what I was shooting for, is to get 50 ears. I still got about 25 ears left on there, but I don't think I'm quite gonna get 50 on the next picking. I'm probably gonna end up with about 40, but we'll wait and see what develops out there. So some of them has got 3 on the stalk, the third one's is little bitty ears. So they may keep growing and we'll see. But right now I got 25 ears of pretty peaches and cream sweet corn. So even at this point, I think you can grow you a mess of sweet corn in a round bed. That's just a 5-foot circle raised bed. Like I said when I showed an earlier video, so many people says you can't grow corn in a round bed or a raised bed, that you need a bigger plot of it for it to fertilize itself, get fertile, dropping its down to the silks. But I'm gonna say that you can. But as always guys, that was just a little update on the garden. I was lucky the wind didn't damage no more than it did. It could have took everything down and laid it all flat, but it didn't. So I was blessed. Good Lord blessed us, and it didn't mess up no more than it did. And what it did blow over, I think it's all right. But if you're watching these little videos and you like what you see and you haven't never subscribed, please reach down there and hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. It don't cost you a thing, but you will get notifications when I have new videos pop up. Because I'm going to be giving little updates throughout as I harvest and do my gardening, and I do all kind of other videos. But as always, I got to get over here and chuck this corn and get me some bacon frying, because I'm finna have me a bacon and tomato sandwich out of that big Cherokee tomato. But I hope y'all have a great day and a blessed week. God bless. See y'all next time. Guys, nothing makes a bacon and tomato sandwich better than a big Cherokee purple tomato.